are listening to And Shit with Quincy Lanier
and Monie Mitchell Sims.
Two best friends talking about whatever.
I'm ready. Well, I just want to apologize in advance because my neighbors have newborn daughters next door. Them babies are getting stronger by the moment. So if you hear children crying in stereo, it's my neighbors.
Oh, that's okay, because I want to apologize because I tried to find a quieter place this time in the building, and I happened to be on the side of the building near the elementary school.
Oh, lovely. Thinking
that, because it's summer vacation for some.
Yeah, it's weird. They go to school all year round out here.
Yeah, and then the breaks change. Like, some kids are on break right now.
Yeah.
And they're at the pool. And where I would usually come and call you for a little peace and quiet in the house. But just a few blocks away is a elementary school, and the kids are out on the playground. And so you may hear bells ringing, you will hear yells and screams and, all the sounds of children frolicking.
Frolicking children. Yes.
Yeah. So this episode is going to be dedicated, I guess, to the children nearby.
Because the children are the future. I believe the children are the future.
Oh, why'd you sing that song? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
What did you have against George Benson?
Yeah.
I
don't have anything against George Benson.
You're talking about Whitney Houston.
Yes, we saw the Whitney documentary last night. And first of all, people are going to be floored by it. It's an amazing documentary. They did a really, really great job with it. And, it was very honest and very heartfelt and intimate. But it just made you just leave there feeling so sad. Like, I left there with a heaviness. There's just this heaviness on me. Just like, man, like, what a national treasure that we lost. And it made me feel guilty. I think part of the heaviness that I felt was in part the guilt of taking part in the mockery of her struggle.
Right.
And I don't think we recognize that we're doing that because we just kind of fall in line with the humor, with the comedy. Because, Whitney could be funny when she was,
when she was happy.
When she was happy. Yes. When she was under the influence, she could be really funny. And that opens you up for a lot of mockery in the media and in the public. And so, I can't say that I didn't partake and enjoy in some of the humor that was done at her expense. But watching this documentary made me feel shitty about it.
Oh.
And you realize, damn, I wasn't even aware of that I was participating in somebody's struggle. Like, she was in pain, and that woman was struggling. And prior to that, she was someone who we loved, we cherished, we looked up to, and regardless of, what happened to her towards the end, she still deserved that modicum of respect, I would say.
She was still human.
She was still human. She still deserved people's concern and respect. And one of the things that we talked about after the documentary was basically Micheal Jackson and Whitney Houston were two of our earlier major stars.
Yeah.
That the media, the tone of America and the tone that we would take when it came to public figures and their downfalls became fodder.
Because it sold newspapers, and it made you want to watch, the Entertainment Tonight and things like that.
Yeah, and it fueled the tabloids, and it made trash gossip tabloids popular. And then we, as a people in this country, our sentiment shifted in a way that I found really ugly, and I found myself guilty of. So that was one of the things that I left there feeling like, oh my gosh, they talked about how close she and Micheal Jackson were.
Well, it's funny that you keep mentioning Michael, because yesterday was Michael's anniversary of his death, 9 years gone. And
he's buried right up the street from me, so.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, Quincy, I loved Michael Jackson. I loved Michael Jackson. And since he's been gone, like every year leading up to his death, I always get depressed, and I don't know why, because I don't consciously remember the date of his death, but it's like my heart does. And I'm in this funk, and I don't know why. And I haven't been able to listen to his music or see his picture or anything like that. It was just too hard. But on Saturday, I went to this Michael Jackson celebration to support a friend of ours' son, because he was participating and performing. And it was just this wonderful celebration. And I started dancing and enjoying everything. And that was the first time in 9 years that I didn't feel devastated because, Michael was gone. And I met this impersonator. Everybody go to my Instagram page, you'll see.
I saw that.
Yes, he looks just like him, right?
Yeah.
And I took a picture with him, and then I immediately turned to a 13-year-old girl. I was gushing. I couldn't believe it. And I knew logically in my head, Quincy, this is not Michael Jackson, right? But just being in his presence, I felt like, oh my God, this is wonderful. And I asked him to dance with me, and he taught me how to moonwalk. Well, he tried to teach me how to moonwalk. And
I would love to see you moonwalk.
Oh, you don't want to see me do it because I couldn't do it, but he tried, and he was trying to teach me how to moonwalk. He took that 1 minute of time to spend with me, and it really did heal me. Right? Suddenly I felt free from all the grief that I had about Michael being gone and everything. But afterwards, going to what you're feeling about Whitney and everything, afterwards, I saw how he kept getting swarmed by people. The impersonator. Every step he took, he was getting swarmed by people. He was so gracious, so kind, and always took pictures with people and everything. And I was just thinking to myself, wow, if this impersonator is getting treated like this, what must it have been like for Michael?
Right.
And I felt sad for him in that moment, because I was guilty of being seduced by just the impersonator's presence. I was seduced by him. I was caught up in that. And I just felt like, man, this must have been a great feeling, but also a lonely feeling to be so big and huge and the biggest superstar in the world, and people are just enamored by you. Yeah, but they don't really know you.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's what that documentary really touches on. And we had the pleasure of having been invited to this at the William Morris Agency by one of her closest friends, and he's worked for her and has been a part of her life for years. And he continues to work with the family and managing her estate. And so, this documentary was done by her estate. This documentary was done.
Oh, okay.
This is an official approved documentary by the family, by the estate. And one would think that because they were doing it, that they would give you the more politically whitewashed kind of soft vanilla version of Whitney Houston. And they didn't. They gave you the honest truth. Everybody in that documentary told the truth, and these were the people who were there. These were the people who were there with her every day, even her mother. And you get to meet Nippy. We already know the super mega star, the legend Whitney Houston, and we also already know the comedic, unfortunate Whitney Houston. We all know that. But I don't think what many people know or the public know is Nippy. And that is the girl when Whitney Houston was off stage. That is the woman when the lights were out. That is the friend, the family member, the talent, the human behind the legend. Oh, thanks, Crow. Decided to crow. You are being invited into her life in such an intimate way that you leave there feeling like you lost a family member. Like, that's what it felt like. And the other great thing is that the friend of ours who invited us, he hung out with us afterwards, and we went and grabbed Fat Burger over by UCLA. And we just sat there, and he just told us these wonderful stories about Nippy and just how simple and regular she was.
Right.
And wanted to be. Oh my gosh, it's fucking Harley Davidsons, jets, kids, Cessnas, Hawks, everything on this side of the building that I'm trying to avoid from the other side of the building. Will you take your hot rodding ass on down the street, motherfucker? God damn it. Okay. Anyway, they don't want me to talk about Whitney.
Yeah, they don't want us to be serious. See, if we were talking about nothing, it'd be quiet.
We were talking about serious. We're gonna get funny, guys. We promise.
But we have to talk about these things because these were our stars, shit. Right? These are the people that they're the soundtrack of our lives, and the people that I can't remember certain parts of my life without hearing a Whitney song or a Michael song, and because of that, we think we know them, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't. Mm-hmm. We don't. Like, there's this quote that Lorraine Hansberry says. She said, "The thing that makes you exceptional, if you are at all, is inevitably that which also makes you lonely."
Oh, my God.
I know, right? And Lorraine Hansberry said this, and I was like, wow. It always makes me think of Michael and Whitney and Prince. And just think, though, I mean, how blessed are we that we grew up in the time, I mean, really grew up when these people were at their prime. We had three. Not just these, one-offs. We had these three mega stars.
But how odd is it that all three of them passed away of the same disease?
I think it's because of what you were saying before. Like, they became these entities and properties, and they were just being consumed all the time. And in order to be consumed all the time, they had to always be on and always perform. They never had a chance to just be, and they didn't know how to just be anymore at a certain point, because I can imagine that love and that applause, that must be the most addictive. That was the thing they were most addicted to, I would think.
Yeah.
Is that. Yeah. And when you don't have that and you step away from the stage and you don't have that, then you have to replace it with something else. And either you replace it with other drama or drugs or whatever.
That alone, for people like Whitney Houston and like Micheal Jackson, you became the breadwinner for your loved ones.
Oh, straight up.
And that type of loyalty and love for the people that you care for, that they're taking care of, they could not stop.
No.
They could not stop. They could not take a break. They had too many mouths to feed.
They had
and
to.
They were exhausted.
I saw a documentary on Amy Winehouse, and she didn't live long enough to get to the place that Michael, Whitney, and Prince did. But her father was her manager, and I remember watching that documentary and seeing how sad she was. She was just sad. She was lonely. And because her father was her manager, he stopped being her dad, right? He was just concerned about her performing and bringing the money in, and wouldn't allow her to go to rehab. I mean, that's a real song. She couldn't go to rehab and get her life together because she had to get in the studio and she had to do these things. And I guess that can be even addictive to a person that is supposed to love and protect you as well. When all this money's coming in, how do you separate? Okay, like if someone had just told Whitney, just relax, sit down somewhere, we'll figure it out, you don't have to worry about us, she might still be here, right?
That's actually in the documentary.
Oh, wow.
There was an intervention because people became really concerned in her camp. One of the first times, she called her father and said, "I don't want to be here." And he told her, "Well, don't." And her father was her manager.
See, that's a problem.
I don't know if he was her manager at the time, but see the documentary. And it was sad because her well-being was not the utmost concern.
Right, because she was making too much money for everybody.
Like that contract, $100 million for one album was one of her deals. Like that was, woo. Does anybody want to give me $100 million? Please, I will podcast my ass off for you, dance and sing.
No, you won't. Jeez. Shut up. I will not allow it.
Why not?
No, because your ass need to go somewhere and sit down.
I am sitting down. I'm on my patio.
I'm just saying. You gotta have somebody in your camp who doesn't give a shit about that stuff.
Exactly.
Who just wants you to be okay. Who just cares about you. And I guess when you get to that level, that person either gets contaminated or you push them away.
That's right. That happens. The people around you change, and then you get surrounded by a camp of people who become your yes men and yes women.
Right.
Their livelihood depends on you not just doing what you want to do, but you also being happy, because they're afraid that they're going to get fired if they don't please you. So they say yes, 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 even though you are in pain.
Right.
That kind of power does affect a person. You know, that you can get on your high horse, and then suddenly the people who really have your back, the people who are willing to be honest with you, you cut them off.
Right.
Because they're not feeding you the yes drug.
Your ego.
Yeah.
They're not feeding your ego.
A lot of people have been committing suicide.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I know. It's I don't know what's going on. I'm sure suicide has always been an issue, but I'm thinking because of the way everything's moving so quickly with social media and everything rushes at you so fast, and it's easy to just become overwhelmed with shit, right?
Right.
It just seems to be happening more and more, and I don't know what to do about that.
It's almost like we have not yet emotionally and mentally evolved enough to cope with the onslaught of social media and information and opinion that comes with the social media age. We haven't, as human beings, caught up with that. I mean, there is literally an onslaught of opinion and news and misinformation on us every day.
Right.
Every day. The fact that every morning I get up and my feed is all about Trump and his crazy shit, and if it's not that, then it's about shit that's happening to the black community.
Right.
And what's in my inbox is everything that everybody's forwarding me. It's almost like you can't breathe. Like I wake up feeling smothered.
Right.
It's stressful.
It takes a toll.
I think it's having a major effect on people's mental health.
For sure.
Because we didn't have all that back then.
No, and depression is up to, I don't even know what the numbers are, but it's ridiculous. Like,
it is ridiculous.
Everybody's depressed.
I'm depressed. Shit.
Yeah, I know. We're all depressed. We're all walking around depressed and tweeting and Instagramming and taking pictures and making it look like our lives are fine, and you know.
Because we gotta pretend something's okay.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's just, you know, that's why I'm glad we're doing this, because, and we talked about this before, like, we just need a break from all that shit, right? You just need a moment where you can just, for a second, just not think about that stuff.
Right.
Because it's coming at you all the time. It's like, this is our way of maintaining our own mental health. So
exactly. Because trust me, it ain't going nowhere. It'll be there when we get back.
As soon as we get off the line, we're going to get on Twitter or Facebook or someplace, and we'll see somebody's been shot somewhere, or some other country now hates us because what the president did. I mean, it doesn't go away. You just have to have a safe space where you can go for
right.
However long you can get it.
We're running a marathon, and we just need some water breaks. That's it. I'm not telling y'all to stop running. We're not saying don't run or run in the opposite direction. We got to keep running to win this fucking race. However, we need water breaks along the way.
Right.
You need somebody on the side like, hey, stop, stretch your muscles, take a sip.
Right.
And then get back to it, you know, and I think that's what we want to provide. Just a water break.
Just a water break.
Because nobody can continue to fight when they've become mentally and emotionally exhausted. You've got to reconvene and regroup and power up.
And that's going back to the conversation about Micheal and Whitney, that if we're feeling this in our little tiny worlds and our little tiny lives, where we just need a break, right? Just take a knee. They definitely didn't get that chance. They died of exhaustion. They died of heartbreak. They died of mental health disorder.
Yeah,
you know, because they just didn't have a chance, or somebody that was in their circle that could just make them unplug.
Right.
And we all need that.
Micheal has been plugged since he was 5.
Yeah, Joe Jackson was making sure that shit happened.
Out of all 3 of them, he's an anomaly because he never has had a childhood.
Yeah.
You know, at least Whitney's mom waited a little while till she was like 18 years old before she kind of entered the business. Prince was a little bit older. They all still had their own family drama and background issues that we all have. But Micheal, the difference with Micheal is that he started at 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been a star, had been a star from 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know what normal was.
Mm-mm.
And he wanted it. He witnessed it. He saw other people have it.
Mm-hmm.
How can you be something that you never were?
Right.
You know, like, he never learned how to walk. So how y'all expect this man to, be upright? You know? I'm just saying, I know that might not be the best analogy.
No, but I know, I feel you. I know what you're trying to say.
You know what? He been running on all fours his whole life. Now y'all mad at him because he don't know how to stand up straight.
Oh.
I went and visited Michael's tomb.
Really? I can't do that.
Oh my gosh, you haven't? You sure you don't want me to take you?
No.
It could be a moment that we can share together.
I don't want to.
And it's a healing moment.
No, I don't want to.
No, because a lot of people thought he was buried in another location, but he is actually buried right up the street from where we live.
Yeah.
Don't nobody come trying to stalk me, trying to find out where I live and shit. Okay, don't, because I'm carrying.
What you carrying? A pencil?
I'm from the south side of Chicago. I'm carrying.
You carrying a cell phone?
I will shoot you a text. Don't have me fuck you up with a tweet. Don't come for me. Don't come up in my house. Don't do it. I will beat your ass with a Facebook post. Don't you do it. No, but he's entombed right up the street, and we went up there, and for the first month or so, the front of his tomb was just covered in gifts and posters and candles, and the whole little strip of the road that surrounds his, where he's entombed was just covered with fan stuff, and it was so hurtful to witness that, just to go up there. Mm-hmm. And to know how many people loved this man and how how he affected the world.
Yeah.
And then, to lose him in that way, and to lose him after one of the darkest periods of his life.
Yeah.
Where he was just trying to come back and recover from that blow.
Yeah.
He passes away. And this was the same narrative for Whitney. And regardless of what they found in the toxicology report, she was under rehabilitation. Mm-hmm. And we know that when people are under rehabilitation, they sometimes
relapse.
Have weak moments.
Yeah.
They have relapse. It's just like fucking diets. It was right on the verge of her committing for the first time in her life to that change for herself.
Right.
And man, it was just I want people to see that documentary. I may be going back for the premiere screening here in LA on the 6th, July 6th.
But all this talk about Micheal and Whitney, I'm just, I'm wondering for you, Quincy, because I know Prince is DeAndre's, love, and Michael's my love. But do you have anybody that you ever felt that, was it Whitney for you? Who was it? Or is it Langston Hughes? Because I know that, all your people.
Well, he was dead when I was born.
I know, but you've been in love with Langston Hughes since. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't be in love with somebody you're related to. My bad.
Yeah, that's incest.
But who is it for you? Was there a superstar for you that just...
Okay, I will tell you who I literally had tears for. Jim Henson.
Oh, wow.
When Jim Henson passed away, that devastated me. And I know that may sound weird to some people.
I know people are like, what?
Like what? But no, Jim Henson was the epitome of my imagination as a child. Like, Jim Henson gave me an escape. All of the movies from the Jim Henson Creature Factory, I forget what it's called. But anyway, who he was and what he created scored my imagination as a child. I was raised on freaking Sesame Street. And from all of the magical movies that he created the effects and the puppets for, Jim Henson helped me survive as a child. His creations gave me a place to escape and took me out of some of my own challenges as a kid. He also inspired me to be an artist and to It was a lot. It was a lot. So he was that guy for me. For some back in the day, maybe Walt Disney was that guy, but I wasn't aware of the person that was Walt Disney himself. Mickey Mouse, yeah, but the man behind Mickey Mouse I learned of much later and appreciated much later. But Jim Henson was that man for me. And I always wanted to go to his factory. Like, I always, as a kid, I dreamed I wanted to go and see all of these puppets. And even though I knew they were not real, that also inspired me, was that, oh my gosh, this man created these puppets and these creatures that are amazing. And I want to do that. You know, I wanted to be a makeup artist and a special effects artist when I was growing up. And I never fulfilled that dream, but I wanted to create movie magic. I do create movie magic, but I have not yet done that. And when we produced Face Off, those 2 specials for Face Off on Sci-Fi Channel, I was going crazy on the inside. When DeAndre will tell you, that was so much fun to watch those effects artists create those creatures and turn people into creatures, and to meet some of the industry's most famous special effects artists, creature artists, makeup artists. I was fanboying. And that was so much fun to do those 2 specials. So yeah, Jim Henson for me, when he passed away, I cried.
Oh, wow.
I did. I cried. Not to say I didn't cry with Michael. I felt a deep hole kicked in my stomach when all 3 of them passed away. Because regardless of me not having one of them who I was just the ultimate fan for, but when I was a kid, I was the ultimate Michael Jackson fan. When he was still like half black, at least. When he was half black. He was so cute. When he had the red jacket.
He was so handsome. He was.
Or the one where he had the yellow sweater, the kind of like Mr.
Oh,
Rogers.
yeah, with the brooch.
Yeah, that poster. Oh my God.
That was the Human Nature poster. I had all.
Oh my gosh, that was my period when I was in love with Michael Jackson, and then after that was the red jacket, the red leather jacket. I had that poster. You know, I followed Michael for a long time, and then when I became an older teen, my uncle introduced me to Prince. And Prince touched on that forbidden side that I was coping with, like sexuality. That, you know, I'm going through puberty, and Prince now is all about unabashed sexuality and taboo and controversy, and that was in me. That was in me. You know what I'm saying? It was in me. So I have to say, I fell off at New Power Generation. I did not.
Well, he never should have. Revolution, that was a mistake. Let's just be real.
Now, as we know, Tamiko, our best friend Tamiko, and my husband DeAndre, they listen to every Prince, everything.
I know, she can have a whole other conversation about this.
But that wasn't Prince for me. And then Whitney Houston was a part of my childhood because she just was the voice. And I remember the How Will I Know album. And I remember mostly for girls, like my sister, I didn't have a Whitney Houston album. I knew who she was and I liked her music, but I was on Michael and Prince. Yeah. I think when I got older, that's when I could appreciate the woman that was Whitney. I had a Janet Jackson period. I had a Madonna period.
I mean, we just have to be real. The 80s were the best for superstars and music. It was like amazing. It was. I had all the Michael's albums up until Bad, because then after that I was like, yeah, what's happening? Right. And then Prince, you know, I couldn't have his albums because Mama, she made sure we couldn't have it. She actually, true story. For some reason, I was like, I begged her. I said, Mama, please, please, please buy this album. I need you to buy this album. And she bought me a Vanity 6 album, not knowing what it was. I don't know why she bought it. I think she just, you know, back in the day when they had record stores, I mean, millennials know nothing about this, but there's a record store, you go inside, you get an album, you go to the, you know, the front, you buy it, and your mama don't know what she just paid for. She just wants you to shut up and get out of her face. That's what happened. So. And
then you go put it on your Walkman.
Well, no, see, I actually had a record player. I had a real record player.
Oh, you had a record player, so you had a record.
I had a record. No, this was a record.
You had an album.
I had an album. So I'm playing Vanity 6, and it was what was it? Nasty Girls. Yeah, it was Nasty Girls. Okay.
Ooh, Nasty Girls.
Yeah. So I'm like singing, I'm jamming, I'm getting down to, you know, Vanity 6. Me and Gina in the living room just dancing. And Mama walked in and said, "What the hell is this?" And she took the record off the record player and broke it. She broke it, Quincy. She said, "Don't you ever bring this devil shit in my house again."
Oh my gosh. See, Prince alone got so many of us in trouble.
Yes, he did.
Because if I was your girlfriend, when that came out, you know, I grew up in a nightclub. My parents had nightclubs, and I had that single because my mom bought it for the club. Mm-hmm. And the radio never really played the talking part.
Because it was nasty.
I didn't know. So as a kid, I wanted to learn the talking part. And so I transcribed the talking part. Like I listened to it over and over again. And I wrote the words down because I was trying to understand what he was saying. Because, you know, he was talking really fast. And I was like, what is he saying? Mm-hmm. So I wrote it down. And I had to be maybe about 13, maybe 12. Mm-hmm. And my stepdad found the lyrics. He didn't know it was a Prince song.
Ooh.
And I'm talking about, you know, can I touch you down there? You know, down there. You know, if I was your girlfriend. And you know the lyrics. I wish I had the lyrics to read them right now, but I don't.
Inappropriate.
You know hey, audience, tweet us some of the lyrics when you listen to this. That would be great. Let's tweet some of the lyrics if I was your girlfriend. And imagine your very heterosexual stepfather from Mississippi finding those lyrics, thinking that you are writing a letter to another boy.
Ooh.
Good Lord. I mean, you know, honestly, it could have been worse. It was just embarrassing for me because I didn't get in trouble. Like, he wasn't like, you are a homosexual and you will get out of my home. You know, I didn't have that experience. Like, I'm going to beat the devil out of you.
Right.
I didn't have that. He had said, son, we need to talk. And I was like, huh? And he pulled out my papers and he was like, what is this? And I could have peed on myself. And I was like, that's a Prince song. He said, huh? I said, those are the lyrics to a Prince song. And he's like, oh. I said, it's called If I Was Your Girlfriend. I didn't write that. And then that was it.
Oh, you got off easy because I think
I got off real easy. But what he really didn't know was that it was really the lyrics to my life. He let me slide. He let me go. I didn't know what was going to happen. Because I realized at that moment, oh my gosh, he thinks I wrote this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm sure just seeing the lyrics out of context. Yeah. You're lucky you're still alive.
Thanks, Prince, for almost getting my ass kicked.
Prince almost got everybody's ass kicked.
I know. Your mama turned into...
No wire hangers in my house!
She became the mother of Carrie. She was about to lock your ass in the closet and nail it shut.
She was so mad because they were half naked on the album, and oh my god! But it was just a different time in the '80s. The men looked like women, and women looked like men. Everybody had on mascara, and
everybody had on tight jeans.
Yes.
I was trying to explain to our niece the difference between skinny jeans and '80s jeans.
Okay, please tell me.
Skinny jeans are skinny and they're fitted, mm-hmm. but they're cut in a way that they're kind of straight. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You can put on skinny jeans easily, right? And they just fit you in a way that looks thinning. 80s jeans, you needed Vaseline. You needed some grips to clamp to the sides of them. 80s jeans, you had to pack yourself into 80s jeans. Every man's junk was on display. The crack of your ass could be seen through the jeans. That's how tight those jeans were. I said, and that mm-hmm. was like straight men, everybody alike. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There is a slight difference between the tightness of skinny jeans of today and those fucking jeans of the 80s. Those 80s jeans. I think that was part of a sterilization program. Mm-hmm.
I was just about to say.
That was messing up balls left and right.
I was just about to say. Just say no to...
That was damaging all kinds of testicles. Y'all might not have been here if those jeans had lasted much longer. Y'all are so lucky that we went into the hip-hop age where then everything was baggy. And I think that was evolution, like, oh, my balls need to breathe. Oh, my gosh. They need to hang, swing low.
Sweet chariot.
Y'all almost killed us. We're going to wear as baggy as possible. We want to carry the babies in these jeans like kangaroos when we give birth. That's how baggy we went from
I know.
nut huggers to like you can have birth and nobody would even know that you were carrying an infant in your jeans. That's what we went to.
Oh.
I think we've exceeded our limit. But we what about our song?
I know. I was just trying to think of a song, and I don't know why Sir Mix-a-Lot is in my head.
Baby Got Back is in your head.
Well, actually, I was thinking My Posse's on Broadway. My Posse's on Broadway.
We talked about celebrity. Mm-hmm. We talked about the world is watching. Somebody's watching me.
And I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me.
And I have no privacy.
Oh. When I come home late at night,
all right,
I close the door real tight. That's all I got. We love you, Rockwell.
We love you, Rockwell Gordy. And 80s out.
Be sure to listen next week to And Shit with Q and Monie.
You can follow Quincy Lanier on Instagram and Twitter at Q Lanier.
And you can follow Moniece at Moniece Mitchell Sims on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Be sure to subscribe to And Shit.